Hello and welcome to Deep Blue Sea, the podcast. I am Mark Marine One Hoffmeyer.
I am Jay Moses or Clue. We don't really do nicknames for this one. Oh well. On this show, Mark and I have been through the entire Deep Blue Sea trilogy,
Do you think
scene
I'm
by
just
scene.
do you think I'm just a big wrench sometimes, Jay? Just like throwing a
I
wrench.
wouldn't have it any other way, Mark. You keep me on my toes. So we're now looking at Deep Blue Sea adjacent films or films with a Deep Blue scene in them, which is the case. This is the second part in our trilogy of the Jurassic World trilogy. We're looking at the Deep Blue scenes in Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. So that's the opening scene with the mosasaur attacking the sub and the helicopter. We also have the gyrosphere scene, which kind of sinks into the water, and then there's a very short couple of seconds at the end with the mosasaur again.
Surfers.
Yeah, the surfers. That was in the trailer. That shot of the mosasaur escaped. It's out in the world. This is the film where the dinosaurs get out there and with the fallen kingdom. That's our kingdom. Our kingdom has fallen. And we see this shot. Oh my god, the mosasaur's attacking the surfers. This is going to be gnarly. This is going to be hella bad for everyone involved. And that's all you get is those 2 seconds in the whole film. That's how the film ends. It was such a disappointment.
What is that mosasaurus going to do to the ecosystem? I know the ocean's vast, right? But any local system where the mosasaurus is, it's going to be chaos, Jay.
Well, they say that anything that would still be inside the lagoon would be dead by now, because it's been a couple of years since the events of Jurassic World, but the mosasaur is still alive. So maybe somehow it doesn't need to eat as much as we would assume.
So I researched that, and Colin Trevorrow said that the opening sequence is set just after Jurassic World. There's 3 years that pass, and then they said we didn't put that type up onto the screen, but the opening scene could even be weeks after or a month after. And then
so
time
they're just
passes
wrong
to
then.
yeah, and then time passes to allow them to create, because they still have to create the Indominus Rex.
Yeah.
So they're saying that this is like a month. So the creature has just been munching on the Indominus.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the Indoraptor they need to create. Yeah.
So I mean, that's a beefy dinosaur. So I mean, and they also said that like, they're kind of cold-blooded, so they could maybe use reserves. And they're genetically modified, so who knows what's happening in that gut.
So that okay.
And Zara.
Yeah, Zara's in there with maybe a couple other engineers, some pterosaurs. Yeah, the Indominus Rex is in there. Who knows what else fell into the lagoon? All else just kind of hung around on the edge, having a little roaring monologue that they could get. But okay, this makes no sense then, because if it's been like 3 years between that scene and the rest of the film, that mosasaur's been out there the whole time.
So that's why they didn't think this through, Jay, because that mosasaurus has been running amok in the ocean. This decimating,
there are no fish left.
Decimating populations, right? Like, just, you know how much that thing has to eat? So you know how many whales, and they haven't killed it? So it's just, I mean, I know don't kill it, but it gets to the point where it's an invasive species. It's like kudzu. It's like the pythons in the Everglades, that there's actually a hunting season to kill the pythons in the Everglades because they decimate local populations.
The only way this can make sense is if that surfing sequence amidst the kind of the montage of dinosaurs in the wild now, if that doesn't take place at the same time as the rest of the montage, that takes place a couple of weeks after it gets out of the lagoon, and then the scene at the start of Dominion, which we'll talk about next time, that's just after that. So if all of these are just completely out of order. So it gets out of the lagoon, it takes out some surfers, it takes out the fishing trawler, and then we never see it again. That's way before the rest of the events of this film. That's the only way I can make sense of this in my head.
How many people does the mosasaurus have to kill before they unleash Jason Statham on it?
Well, maybe it wasn't a squid that took out that sub at the start. Maybe it was the mosasaur. Maybe it killed all of his crew.
And he becomes one of the most buff drunk people in the history of cinema.
Yeah, no one drinking that much beer could have that physique.
And Patrick Wilson in Moonfall too. He's just slugging alcohol, but then he's just like super ripped. And you're like, you know what? Maybe I should start drinking Coors Light.
Yeah, go on the Coors diet.
Tap the Rockies. Maybe I could climb a mountain and then drink a Coors Light, a bunch of them, so that way I've gotten exercise, and then just roll down the mountain.
I mean, it's worth a try. I'm not going to do it, but
Go up Ben Nevis. We'll hike Ben Nevis, Jay, me and you, and
Yep.
and our significant others. We'll all hike to the top of Ben Nevis.
Okay.
Right? Chug Coors Lights and then just roll down.
Done. Yeah.
I was so high on Ben Nevis that a helicopter was below me flying, and it was still pretty high. It was awesome.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I've not done Ben Nevis yet. Done
The soles of my shoes fell off, Jay.
That's a bad time for that to happen.
I had no money. I went over there with $1,500. It dropped down to 750 euros. And when I was out there, the soles of my shoes fell off. And then plus I was from Florida, so I didn't know what it was like in late October, Scotland.
Yeah, cold.
Woo, Jay.
Cold.
And our
wet.
luggage didn't show up for a few days. I was cold, my friend.
we go every September. We don't go every October. September's the sweet spot.
Dude, I had no soles on the bottom of my shoes hiking in Ben Nevis.
That's bad times.
Yeah.
I would not recommend it. Don't try it
going
out.
down was rougher too because it was very slippery.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. So I think this opening scene in Fallen Kingdom might be my favorite scene of the film. It's not a film I like. We're not going to cling to that thought. But this is a pretty solid opening of the sub, like extracting the tooth of the dominant skeleton and then getting swallowed whole. I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty atmospheric. J.A.B. Ono is a good horror director. He's good with his atmosphere. The guy up on land with the T-Rex appearing behind him, and then being chased by it, just grabbing the ladder, and the T-Rex grabbing the ladder, and they're going to cut the rope, and then the T-Rex breaks the rope, and that was quite tense. And then the Mosasaur jumps up and gets him. That's a pretty cool sequence. I like how all that plays out. It's the rest of the film I don't like. I like his opening 8 minutes is pretty great, I think.
You nailed it when you said atmospheric, because there's a great little bit of tension when they catch the fossil and it's going up to, or not the fossil, the skeleton, when it's going up to, when they put the little thing on it, it's going up to.
Oh yeah, it's got the balloon.
Words are failing me right now, but yeah, it has the balloon. It goes to the surface, but you see the lightning, and you see the light, and you see the Mosasaurus, and then later on the Mosasaurus is directly behind them. It's like any other slasher movie ever. I mean, this is a gigantic Mosasaurus that is acting like Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers, and it's lovely. And also the guys, the techs laughing after the T-Rex lets go. You're like, oh, this dude's gonna die, and then the thing just jumps out and eats him, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, you can't celebrate that early. You're not away yet.
Always climb, Jay. Always climb.
Yep.
Never stop. Never stop climbing the ladder. But it's fun though. You get the T-Rex, you get the narrow mist, you get the rain, the lightning, the shadows, and do you think that Bayona saw? I know that this was in production before, but do you think he saw Star Wars: The Last Jedi or talked to Rian Johnson and just sort of blew up what the Lost like Jurassic World was? Because it's basically a horror movie with new characters. You go to a mansion. Most of it's spent in a mansion with clones.
Yes. Well, yeah. The last half is much smaller scale than we used to.
And we watch a dinosaur, Jay, die in a billow of smoke from a volcano.
Okay, that's what I don't want. I don't think J.A.B. Ono likes dinosaurs.
No,
because you watch Fallen Kingdom and he kills most of them. I come to this franchise because I love dinosaurs. I want to see them eat people. That's what I'm here for. And yeah, some people get eaten. The bad guys don't fare well in this film. Toby Jones, Ed Levine, you get what's coming to you. What's his face? Raceball. Ted Levine plays
Raceball's accent in this, my friend. It's the chewiest thing I've ever heard in my life. I just want to get that out there.
He's British and should remain that way.
I like him as an actor, but when I hear that accent, it gets into my soul a little bit.
Ted Levine irritates. I love Ted Levine in anything.
Oh, this one.
And he's he's the great hunter of this one. He's the the Pete Postlethwaite character, essentially. And then he makes a stupid thing and tries to steal the teeth. And I was like, why would you do that, you dumbass?
Yeah, but you're right though. There's an entire scene, Jay, where the orb has dropped into the water. Bryce Dallas Howard is drowning, and there's a triceratops swimming in the scene barely, and that thing's gonna drown, Jay. Like that thing's not gonna live.
I mean, that's probably preferable to suffocating in a cloud of ash.
Yeah,
None
that's
of
true.
these dinosaurs go out well.
But it's why just slaughter these things? Why, Jay?
I didn't want to see it. It makes me sad. Okay, so I don't like that sequence for two reasons. One is really sad. Stop killing all of my dinosaurs, and like making me watch them suffocate. I don't, just stop it. Make me watch them choose between being boiled alive by lava or jumping off a cliff and drowning. That's like, this is not a fun time. It's that, and also this is a quite a long action sequence that doesn't let up. So you've got Owen Grady being tranquilized and waking up with the lava almost melting him.
Oh yeah.
With like this, it's kind of a comic sequence, but also it's a sort of big action scene where he's like, his limbs aren't working because he's been tranquilized, and then he's like, oh, the volcano's erupting. God damn, run away from that. Meanwhile, you've got Blair and Franklin facing off against the baryonyx underground and escaping from that. They get out. They all get out. Then it's, the volcano's erupting. Run. Oh my god, there's I think it's a Carnosaur is going to take us out. And then the T-Rex shows up and takes out the Carnosaur.
That sneaky bastard.
Yes. And then, run, get into the gyrosphere. Oh god, now there's a chase sequence. Fall off the cliff, into the water. Oh, it's going to sink. Got to swim down and save them. Got to shoot through the gyrosphere underwater. Then he gets hit by a bit of molten lava, and drops the gun. Let's go to get there. Come back down again. Break open the door. They get up. They get to land. Quick breather, and it's like, oh no, the boat's leaving. They got to run and run and run. Just back on the boat. It's peril fatigue.
Yeah.
It's too much all in one go, and I can't take it.
Is that something you just made up? Peril fatigue?
I think it's something I heard first on the Star Wars Minute podcast. They talk about it in the Attack of the Clones.
Okay.
The robot factory, the droid factory sequence where it's just on and on and on. And since I've heard them talk about it, I was like, yeah, I get that, and I see that here as well. So I cannot take the credit for it. It's a phrase that I like and I think applies here. It's just too much.
And there's a volcano landing on them.
Yeah. The falling ash is what makes the first big hole in the gyrosphere. It's not enough that the volcano's erupting, but also it's going to make them drown as well. It's just a vindictive volcano.
That's J.A. Bayona just putting lava on everything about Jurassic World. Yeah. And then you know what's interesting? Dominion goes back to kind of another park, so it's kind of the Last Jedi of the three.
Yeah, it's kind of it's taking what was done before and reversing it and going back against it. Yeah, and it's the same director going back and undoing what someone did previously. It fits. The analogy fits.
But I will say, I do love the opening of this movie, and it's I don't know if it's totally in place. I like that the Mosasaurus is basically Michael Myers. It's well shot. It's kind of devious. But yeah, then it just goes to Pratt and then a diner, and then they're back on an island and lava and dead dinosaurs and Ted Levine being a total jerk. And listen, I appreciate the audacity, right, Jay? But,
yeah.
But sometimes, though, like people say that it's great because it subverted expectations. But sometimes I think subverting expectations isn't the best idea. So I'm all about chaos, but I do think that sometimes you got to stop and think that, is me subverting expectations a good thing? Does that make sense?
It does. And I think that the main successful expectation solution is taking it off of the island and putting it in the haunted house at the end, which I think that works, but that still would have worked like if it was just the end of the first film where it's inside a facility on an island. It's kind of the same. You're still just inside a building being chased by a dinosaur. And I was like, oh, it's in a big haunted house. Like, yeah. It's still, it's not that different, I guess. The thing that doesn't work is taking off the island and then destroying the island. And you don't need to do that.
You know what's insane about destroying the island? J.A. Bayona's like, they're never going back. It's like, that's kind of a jerk move. But it's not like human folly that is killing these dinosaurs. You can't take all the you can't take it with you. You can't take all the dinosaurs with you on that boat during the volcano eruption.
No, they get like 18 species, I think they say.
So what you're doing is the island is just exploding and murdering animals. So it's not the humans' fault. So you're not even creating a villain with this volcano. You're not creating these idiots went and just slaughtered them all so no one else could get them because they already got their DNA samples, stuff like that. Yeah. You are just having a volcano murder dinosaurs.
It's just spiteful against the franchise and the fans, saying like, oh, you can't have any more of this. I've decided because I don't want any more of this. So no, you can't have any either. Haha.
This led me to thinking a lot about rebooquels, Jay, and how they all follow. I love how they all sort of. I think the successful ones, such as Scream, such as Creed, what they do is Jurassic World was Jurassic Park. Then you have Scream was just another Scream movie with new characters and legacy characters. Creed was ingenious because it brought in Creed and brought back Rocky, and what a beautiful idea. You also have the new Halloween, which is basically Halloween, but a rebooquel. But then Force Awakens, and then this Jurassic World. But then I started looking at their sequels and which ones I thought were quite successful, where you have Halloween Kills that blows up everything about the first one. You have Last Jedi that blows up everything about the first one. But then you get Creed 2 that sort of moves into Drago's kid, and it sort of organically moves into that way. I don't think it totally works, but I think it's more successful, if that makes sense. So I feel like making a sequel to a reboot is kind of tough, Jay, because you're essentially remaking the first film. So you don't want to remake the second film, so you kind of have to blow it up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get that. I guess they could have been, if they could still potentially blow up the island, but they could have been more successful in getting more dinosaurs off, I guess. Mm-hmm. So, because when this is like really frustrating about this film, I promised the listeners I didn't come here to insult the film today. I came trying to say nice things about it.
We're having a good conversation about it. This is nice. Yeah.
When they first get to the island, they're already like 2 days behind schedule. That's like a line of dialogue in the film. Like, oh, we're already behind schedule. You've just arrived. How? What are you talking about? I get because the volcano's going to erupt, but it's just frustrating to me. As soon as they arrive, like, we're already running late. Like, come on, give us a minute, will you? Like, why didn't you come here earlier then?
And I looked at the timestamp of the movie, and in the late 40s, early 50s, they're still getting ran around by lava. Like, it's an odd choice for this film. But, Jay, the opening scene.
Yes, the opening scene is great. And if they had done more with that closing sequence with the mosasaur on the surface, I'd love that too. I'd love that setup. Like, oh my god, it's going to take out the surface. But we don't get that. Yeah, the opening scene, it's atmospheric. It's just the Indominus Rex skeleton at the bottom of the sea with like the teeth jutting up. You get the camera kind of shooting from inside of its mouth and that's when you see the sub and you see the mosasaur just above it. That's a fantastic shot.
Mm-hmm. I was looking for Zara's skeleton.
Yeah, it's not there. I don't think it's in there. Yeah. Do you reckon inside the mosasaur the Indominus Rex tried to eat what was left of her in the stomach? See, that was not long after.
Wait, wait. Are you saying that the mosasaur swallows the Indominus whole, and while Zara's fighting for her life, the Indominus eats Zara?
I hadn't considered it would need to swallow the Indominus whole for that to happen. I don't think it probably can. It can swallow the sub. But the Indominus Rex is a bit longer. So no, I don't think that's right. It would be great if it was. If the Lego game was accurate, that'd be great. But yeah, I think he's probably going to be dead. She's probably going to be dead before she gets in there.
Does a mosasaurus have a submarine in its stomach?
It does now.
It's dead.
Oh, are the guys in the sub? Are they alive?
Yes.
So they're alive in the stomach, but they don't want to get out because they're inside of a stomach. And that's...
Wait, so it swallows it whole?
Well, it disappears. You see the lights disappear.
Yeah.
Great moment.
Yeah. I mean, even if they get attacked, you'd hear So it must just swallow them whole, and then they can't get any signal outside of its belly. And the mosasaurus is still alive with that thing kicking around. Yeah. What is happening here?
Well, because it's got that claw and that little circular saw thing, so it might try and fight back.
Wait, it's gonna saw its way out of
I mean,
its belly?
if that's all you got, if all you've
This
got
is
is
the movie
is
I
a
want.
saw and a claw, you're gonna try and saw and claw.
Jason Statham could do it.
He could do it without the saw and claw.
Yeah, that's right. He would just kick his way out. He would. Have you seen Beowulf? You know when Beowulf rips his way out of that aquatic sea beast and then screams his own name? That's what Jason Statham would do.
And that's gonna be a future scene that we cover, I guess.
It was Zemeckis' Beowulf.
Yeah, it's a bad film.
Yeah. It's one of those why movies.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. All I can remember about that is an interview that Ray Winston gave where his wife was like, "Are you going to work?" He's like, "Yeah." "No, I've got to kiss Angelina Jolie today." That's just all I can remember is him complaining about him to do that.
I hate when actors do that. It's like, yeah, I know why you're saying it. Get over yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you don't want to be like, oh yeah, like sounding shifty. Just sounding like Ray Winstone in general.
Yeah, she's not saying to Brad Pitt, "Oh, I get to kiss Ray Winston today." You know that's not happening.
No, maybe she watched Sexy Beast.
Maybe. I see her being more of a Ben Kingsley guy.
Yeah. Oh man, he's scary in that movie, Jay.
He's terrifying.
Did he win an Oscar for that movie?
I don't think so. He won
Dumb.
the Gandhi.
See, that's a role. That's a beautiful role. People should not win for that. Not playing someone else. I don't think people should win awards for starring in a biopic, Jay.
Well, Hell Austin Butler.
Well, dude, like walk the line. Hey, I'm Johnny Cash. Yeah. I'm depressed. Yeah. Like, oh, Oscar. Like, just create a new character.
So he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor for that role, but he lost to Jim Broadbent in Iris.
See?
A real person.
People got to stop. Like Daniel Day-Lewis for Lincoln. He just became a cobbler and just started dressing like Lincoln. That's not. Don't do it. Stop. Give it to him for whether There Will Be Blood. Or was that a book?
I can't take anything away from his Lincoln performance because I think he's phenomenal in Lincoln.
I'm Lincoln.
But it is. I mean, he just. I kind of forget that it's Daniel Day-Lewis. What is this archive footage in color of Lincoln talking to Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Sally Field. I
worked with a guy who worked on Lincoln. Big role. I'm not gonna say who. I'm not gonna share the story. But what he told me.
You worked with Tommy Lee Jones.
I don't want. But what he told me though, I was like, oh man, I don't know about DDL anymore.
Oh, okay.
Just letting you know.
Yeah, okay.
Method acting. But it's just Lincoln, dude. It's just Lincoln. Like, hey, I'm Lincoln. Like, just, yeah, then Oscar. Come on now. Create a new character. Maximus from Gladiator, right?
Yeah.
Well, actually, Denzel should have won for Malcolm X. I would make exceptions. No, he won for Training Day. New character.
He did. Yes, yeah, he did. King Kong.
There should be two categories: mimicking somebody performance and winning, and then just creating a new character.
So
who's thoughtful
so best actor and best imitator.
The Oscars are a farce anyway. After Sun didn't get nominated, like Daniel Deadweiler didn't get nominated for Till. Like, it's all a farce anyway. So do best imitation and best. I actually care enough to create a new character, like Tar.
Yeah,
I
still haven't seen Tar, but I had assumed that was some real person.
I think it's based on. It's like an amalgamation.
Like the Fablemans. It's not the Spielbergs. It's the Fablemans.
I feel like Michelle Williams is just all elbows in that movie. I don't even know why she got nominated.
I think she was good.
Man, the Fablemans.
I mean,
Hirsch is good. That speech he gives hit me right in the field. Like, I hate saying in the fields because I live that life, and you do become a gypsy.
I mean, I hope to one day recreate the scene that he has with his great nephew. Once my nephew has a child, I'm going to recreate that scene.
Going to show up and did you even work in the film industry, Jay? No.
I tamed lions, but I'm just going to show up, rip a chicken apart with my bare hands, and just traumatize this kid.
That sounds great. Yeah, I'll do that too.
That's the plan.
But
my nephew is currently 5, so I've got a long time to prepare for this.
Indiana Jones, Jay. New character. Lovely. Steve Zissou. Beautiful. Give them the awards. Best imitator and best actor and actress. Actually, just put them all in one category together. Do 10 in one, 10 in the other, and then just give one statue.
Yeah,
that's what the Independent Spirit Awards do.
Yeah, I don't need best actor, best actress. I just need best lead performance, best supporting performance.
That's it. That's all you need.
Yeah.
Independent Spirit Awards. Done.
There's no best male director, female director.
Megan and I are doing a Independent Spirit Awards draft episode coming up soon.
Oh,
so
nice.
We're going to draft our 3 favorite movies, performances, and scenes from movies nominated for Independent Spirit Awards.
Fantastic. I look forward to listening.
Yeah. So shall we move on?
We should. Yeah, so this has been our talk on Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. My least favourite of the Jurassic franchise, I think. So you can listen to us talking about more on Con Air the podcast. You can hear Mark over on Movies, Films, and Flicks. You can read me on lifeversusfilm.com and hear me on the Lambcast once a month doing Lamperty. We're hurrying this because we're about to record the next episode and we have a hard out. So for this episode, I've been Jake Lewitt.
And I'm Mark Hoffmeyer.
Deep Blue, see you again soon.